This video will focus on one of the lesson plan ingredients, which is learning resources. Learning resources is very important for delivering high-quality lesson. And it depends on the specific subject, grade level, and instructional goals. When we are trying to write our lesson plan, we need to think about our resources. We need to plan for the resources. We need to prepare the resources to pack and to get ourselves ready before the lesson. Something that I like to say all the time when the issue of learning resources is brought to the table is taking a look back at Murphy's first law, which says that anything can go wrong, will go wrong, regardless of how much do we prepare a PowerPoint, getting the right videos, getting the physical papers and manipulatives. If something will go wrong, then it will. So all the time, try to be ready with plan B. Envision your needs. Think about how to make your learning outcomes three-dimensional in the sense of bringing all the different learning styles into your classroom. So having activities for the kinesthetic learner, for the visual learner, for the naturalist, for the interpersonal, intrapersonal, so that everyone can find an interest in what you are presenting. List all resources. Sometimes when we try to plan an activity, we think that by default, the essential resources will be available in the classroom, but this is not the case. For example, if your activity will rely on colorful sticky notes, don't assume that your students will have them. Try to make sure that in parallel to every planned activity or learning opportunity, you are outlining the resources that you will need in order to make this activity happen in an effective manner. Last but not least, have enough manipulatives for groups or individuals. Sometimes when we try to prepare sets for groups, we prepare the exact number of sets for the exact number of groups that we expect. But sometimes things can go out of our way. So all the time, try to have an extra set or have an extra box in which you have additional resources, because some students might surprise you by being early finishers or more active, so you need to scaffold them with additional activities. While selecting the impactful resources for delivering our high-quality lesson, we need to think about some types of resources that are commonly used in classrooms to enhance learning and engage students. So we need to consider the textbooks and educational materials. Well-designed textbooks and educational materials aligned with the curriculum can provide structured content and activities to support instruction. They often include explanations, examples, practice exercises, and assessments. It is common to have the basic textbook, which is prescribed for all students for a certain discipline, but you need to have additional This additional set of educational material that are aligned with the curriculum will enrich the experience of your students. Digital resources and online tools. With the increasing availability of technology in classrooms, digital resources and online tools can be highly impactful. These include interactive websites, educational apps, simulations, virtual labs, multimedia presentations, videos, and educational software. They can provide engaging and interactive learning experiencing, facilitate personalized instruction, and offer opportunities for self-paced learning. Students become very excited when we ask them to use digital tools to master a certain learning objective. So use it as a reward since they are all excited about it, and keep in mind that this generation is high tech and every digital resource that is given to them inside the classroom is much more appealing than any other printed resource. Authentic reading materials. Incorporating authentic reading materials can enhance students' comprehension skills, critical thinking, and content knowledge. Authentic texts provide real-world context and expose students to diverse perspectives. Visual aids and graphics. Visual aids including charts, graphs, diagrams, maps, infographics, and illustrations can help students visualize concepts, understand relationships, and make connections. Visuals can support comprehension, promote retention, and make complex information more accessible. Manipulatives and hands-on material. For subjects like mathematics, science, or art, hands-on materials and manipulatives can be highly impactful. These include objects, models, physical or visual manipulatives, art supplies, scientific instruments, or laboratory equipment. They provide concrete experiences and allow students to expose concepts through active engagement. Collaborative learning tools. Resources that facilitate collaboration and interaction among students can be powerful in fostering social learning and developing interpersonal skills. These include group projects, collaborative online platforms, discussion boards, shared documents, or video conferencing tools. Primary and secondary sources. Make sure that when you are identifying the resource needed, that you consider the primary and the secondary sources. So using primary sources such as historical documents, letters, photographs, or artifacts, and secondary sources such as scholarly articles or research papers can deepen students' understanding of various subjects. They encourage critical analysis, research skills, and the ability to evaluate multiple perspectives. This is very much needed currently because of the vast amount of data and information that we have available for our students. So we need to teach them what is a primary source, what is a secondary source, and how can they critique and critically analyze the multiple perspectives coming from primary and secondary sources. Real-world experiences and field trips. Taking students on field trips or arranging real-world experiences can provide hands-on learning opportunities and connect classroom concepts to the outside world. This can include visits to cultural sites, science centers, community service projects, or museums. Teacher-created materials. Teachers often create their own instructional material, including the worksheets, graphic organizers, activities tailored to specific needs. This material can be customized to address specific learning gaps, differentiation, or cultural relevance. For me, teacher-created material provides authenticity to the learning environment. Personalized and differentiated resources. No one knows your students more than you do. So even if we want to use the educational material or digital resources, we need to provide resources that cater to the individual learning needs and preferences, which can significantly impact the student engagement and achievement for your specific student cohort. This may include adaptive learning softwares, differentiated texts, leveled materials, or individualized learning plans. That's why, if we are talking about the same unit plan or lesson plan, implementing this plan in two different classes with two different student cohort might require two different sets of resources pending the needs and the interests of each cohort. What else can we have with us inside the classroom? Definitely, we need to have with us a well-structured and detailed plan which outlines the objectives, activities, resources, and assessment methods for the lesson, which is well known as the lesson plan or the unit plan. We need to get with us the curriculum materials, such as textbooks, lab reports, teacher guides, and other resources aligned with the curriculum and standards, visual aids such as posters, illustrations, multimedia presentations, charts. We also need to get with us the assessment tools, which is the material for assessing students' understanding and progress throughout the lesson, such as the rubrics, the grading sheets, the reflective sheets, the online assessment platforms. We need to get with us the class management tools, material to support class management, including the seating chart, the attendance sheet, behavior management strategies, and any other tool specific to your classroom rules and procedures. The most impactful resources to be used for every discipline is different than the resources required for another discipline. So if we are taking mathematics, for instance, math tools are very important to be available in every math lesson, regardless of the grade level that math is taught for. So hands-on manipulatives and math tools such as the base 10 blocks, fraction bars, geometric shapes, algebra tiles, measuring tools, or virtual manipulatives are very important to develop a concrete understanding of mathematical concepts. Also, accessing the numerous online math resources, the educational websites and educational apps provide interactive lessons, tutorials, games, and practice exercises. Other resources might include math games and puzzles, math videos, online tutors. For a science class, for instance, We can have various resources such as laboratory equipment and materials, science kits and STEM materials, digital resources and online simulations, science models, and virtual aids. Remember to select resources that align with the learning objectives, promote scientific inquiry, and provide meaningful connections to real world. We need to incorporate a variety of hands-on experiences and real-world applications that can create a dynamic learning environment that fosters curiosity, critical thinking, and scientific literacy. So when we talk about resources, we're talking about the experience that would allow our students to develop their skills and their competencies and to make them holistic global learners that are empowered to use the knowledge that they have mastered and to apply it in different real world situations.